Undercover economist Tim Harford on the megabucks riding on the weather, the forecasters forecast.
Who'd be a British weather forecaster? We take them for granted when they get it right and moan when the weather doesn't do as it's told. A wayward weatherman is a nuisance, even if he just leaves you short of a brolly.
And sometimes the difference between putting this on the screen and this could be millions of pounds. So Mark, what happened last Bank Holiday Monday?
Well, what happened was we had an absolutely appalling weather forecast for the day, and that made everybody do their DIY chores, all the things around the house. The last thing they want to do is come to a seaside resort.
And what was the weather like?
It was absolutely glorious, just like today.
What difference did that make to your visitor numbers?
Well, it decimated the numbers, as you'd imagine, and whereas normally we'd expect to have over 100,000 people here on the 7 miles of seafront, we were down to just around 75,000 people. And so in total that cost over £1 million just from that single day's lost business.
Why do you think the Met Office got things wrong?
Well, I think there's a little bit of the Michael Fish effect, that they clearly don't want to get it wrong, otherwise it's very embarrassing.
Apparently a woman rang the BBC and said she heard that there was a hurricane on the way. Well, if you're watching, don't worry, there isn't.
But the other side of that is if they're too cautious about it, then businesses suffer badly.
So how accurate are weather forecasts these days, and how are they made?
We run a computerised model that simulates the atmosphere. We collect observations from around the world, from aircraft, from satellites, and also from observing stations on the ground. And we use all that information and bring it together to give our best estimate of what the forecast is likely to be.
Some people have complained that you deliberately provide gloomy forecasts just in case you get caught out.
That's really not the case at all. With all our forecasts, we try to be as objective as possible, and we can say that 6 out of 7 of our forecasts are right. So again, if you extrapolate that value at a decent summer, for tourism alone, you can see that the value that we bring to the economy is pretty significant.
This goes a lot deeper than ice cream makers praying for sun and cinema managers clamouring for rain. So many businesses are dependent on the weather, private companies are making money from forecasting. Why are people willing to pay so much money for an accurate forecast?
30% of industry in the UK is weather sensitive in one way or another, so there's an awful lot of money to be made if you get accurate information. Let's take gritting the roads, for example. There's big problems if you get it wrong. If you say the roads are going to freeze with ice and snow and they don't, it costs a local authority a lot of money. On the other hand, if the temperature is quite a bit lower than you suggest, there can be accidents, there can even be fatalities.
Do you feel a big sense of responsibility?
There can be some very stressful moments during the winter, especially during difficult snow and ice weather. The weather is forecasting the future. We don't always get it 100% right, so you do take it home with you, and it can be quite stressful at times.
One independent study put the value of public weather forecasting alone at £650 million. So whether they're right or they're wrong, weather forecasts matter.
The undercover economist is with us. I think Bournemouth surely protests too much because